Hello and welcome to lecture 4 of rules of replacement. So in this part of question solving sessions, we will be taking a little bit of difficult questions precisely because usually and simply you cannot see the answer coming, but after a little bit of solving it becomes evident that okay, this is how the answer will come out. So I have chosen the first question for you as L dot m wedge n implies m dot n. This is just a single line number question that you have only one premise, and the conclusion says L implies m implies n. This is question number 19 in your book. So let us try to solve it. Students have usually found it a little bit difficult to solve this question because they say that the expression becomes very complicated or sorry, or it is a little bit difficult to solve. It becomes tedious for students. So all these things have been reported. So I thought that maybe we will take this question and see if there is any simple way of solving this question. So let us do our traditional thing, or our the most conventional thing which we usually do, and that is to solve the RHS. If you solve the RHS, only one step, you will find that it is negation of L wedge, negation of m wedge n. So this is the expression which you should remember, that this is something which we have to bring. So if we have to bring this, how to bring this from here? This is the whole idea. Now another way of understanding this is that suppose if you get L triple bar m implies n, if you get this expression, so this will also be broken down into L m implies n and dot m implies n implies L, right? So this is another way of getting this answer, right? So these are a couple of things which you can keep in mind, so that whenever you are solving, it will be easier for you to think that how we can bring out this answer. Okay, so let us try that how to go for this question. You can see that there is only one premise, and that is L dot m wedge n. So let us first, because there is only one thing which you can do over here, and that is to apply material implication, right? So let us try to apply material implication and see what will be the thing. So we will have negation of L dot m wedge n, bracket close, wedge m dot n. So this is something which we will get on if we apply material implication on step number 1. Now if we can make something here, so we will get line number 3 as negation of L wedge, negation of m wedge n, right? So once we will put the negation inside, this will happen, and here m dot n will stay the same. So this is what we have done on second. We have used De Morgan's law, right? So this is the expression which has come. So on step number 4, you will get negation of L wedge, negation of m dot, negation of n, right? So this is what we will get, wedge m dot n, right? So this is going to be step number 3, and you have applied De Morgan's on this line, so I am putting De Morgan's here. Okay, fine. Now if we have to check that what to do after this, because as you can see that even after solving 3 steps, we are still not finding, or we are still not seeing the conclusion coming out. At least I cannot see, maybe you can see. And this is something which is felt by most of the students, that they feel some kind of problem, or they face some kind of problem when they are solving this question. So if you see also here that it will be a little bit difficult from here to go for, like, what should we do? We can apply distribution over here, or we should not apply distribution over here, what will be the thing which will come out of it, and so on. So we have this kind of problem here, or in the sense I will say that this is something which is staying back and it is not going out of it. Allow me to remind you, if you remember the rules of the rule of material equivalence. So material equivalence is having a couple of rules, and if you see the second rule of material equivalence, the second rule of material equivalence says that P triple bar Q is equivalent to P dot Q wedge negation of P dot negation of Q. So since all of these things are in wedge, you can see that this part and this part is actually, I will say, an equivalence relationship. What I'm talking about is something which usually may not be very well observed, because if you see material equivalence rule, as I told you, material equivalence says that P triple bar Q is equivalent to P dot Q wedge negation of P dot negation of Q. This is the I will say the not so popular formula of material equivalence. The other formula, P implies Q dot Q implies P, is the most. So sorry. So if you see this part and this part, even if they are in different brackets, but you can see this part wedge, this part wedge, this part. So it is like P wedge Q wedge R. Okay. And since it is P wedge Q wedge R, so we can change the bracketing with the help of association and put forward these together. So let us try to do what I am saying. So step number 5, what I say, negation of L wedge negation of M dot negation of N wedge M dot N. I put the bracket here rather than here. I change the position of the bracket. So I have used association on line number 4, right? So this is one simple step which you can do. So now if you see this, it is equivalence, right? So step number 6, negation of L wedge M triple bar N. You can directly write this because this is equivalent to M triple bar N, right? M dot N wedge negation of M dot negation of N, or negation of M wedge negation of M dot negation of N wedge M dot N. You can do it. So you have got this. So you can use on 5, you have used material equivalence, right? Step number 7. Now what you can do is that you can write negation of L wedge M implies N dot N implies M, right? This also you are using material equivalence but a different formula. So you write 6 material equivalence again, because this is the second formula of material equivalence. This was the first formula of material, or in fact in your book this is going to be the first formula and this is going to be the second formula, but does not matter, it is the same, right? So now you see that this question is in form of distribution. You can apply distribution. So I will apply distribution on step number 8. I will write negation of L wedge M implies N, fine, and then dot negation of L implies N implies M. So this is on 7 distribution. Okay, so we have used this. Now I will simplify this part. 9. Negation of L wedge M implies N. Fine, I leave this part. So I will say 8 simplification. So after that there is only one step which is required, and that is this negation of L wedge. This will be L implies M implies N. So I have used on 9 material implication. So you can see that this question is a very short question. Some students have also shown me a solution of this in from some website or something, and it makes this question very complicated, very long, and also quite tedious by nature, because the more you get into the complication of a question, or you solve the question in a very complicated fashion, what happens is that there is more chance of faltering. That means that because you have to take care of a lot of things, and there will be a lot of steps and this and that, so it may happen that at some place or the other you will stuck, and that creates a lot of problem. So given that understanding, I guess so this way of solving this question is easier, simpler, and more foolproof. If you have any problem with this solution or something, you can always put it on the comment. But as I feel like that this is an easier way of solving this question, there are more than there are more ways to solve this question. You can always feel comfortable solving it in some other way, and absolutely there is no problem unless you are breaking a rule. You should not violate a rule, and apart from that you can use or you can solve questions in whatever way you want. So this was one question. Even if after 3 or 4 steps you do not feel like comfortable with this question, but then one bolt from the blue, or one strike which was required, if you get that, you can solve this question. And to remind you, this negation of m dot negation of n wedge m dot n, this is a very important one, since you can use it with the help of P and Q as well. This is a very important I will say formula to remember, because with this you can use the equivalence, and with equivalence you can come to implication, and from implication you can come to wedge as well, which is going to make your questions easier or simpler. So this is something which I wanted to tell you. So we took this question. Let us take another question, so that we keep on with the practicing, because we need a lot of practicing, and we should solve a lot of questions. Till the time we are not solving a lot of questions, it will not help us to master the traits of proof constructions, because proof construction is all about how much practice you have taken, or how much practice you have done in order to solve the questions. So the next question which we will be solving is, suppose if we have premises like Q wedge R dot S. So this is the first premise. The second premise is Q implies T dot T implies S. So they are asking us to solve therefore S. So this is the question which has been given to us. So we need to solve this question, right? Now, as you can see that it is S. So what will be the way of coming out with S? It can be if you can take out this out, and then you find, or you can solve something like T, so you will get S. This is one of the ways. Or you can create negation of S implies S, so that will be double negation S wedge S, that will be S wedge S, and that will be S. So either you will use tautology, or you will use hypothetical syllogism and tautology, or you will find a modus ponens for this. In whatever way, let us try to see what can be the solution which we can create. To my limited understanding, what I feel like is that if you create something implies with the S, and then you have something with this, so there will be a requirement of hypothetical syllogism. This is what I feel with my limited understanding. Let us see how we can solve this question. Okay, so again, if you see directly, it is like you will not get anything solving the right hand side, right? So if you are not finding anything solving the right hand side, so it is not going to help you much, or it is not going to it is not giving you enough to solve this question, right? So how to go for this question? So let us first try to get into the first line. If you see the first line, we will get Q wedge R dot Q wedge S. So we can say first distribution. So we have applied distribution on line number 1. Now you can see that we have a line with R, we have a line with S. Now what to do? we have a line with R and we have a line with S, and then we have a line with S here, and we have a line with T here. So in order to create S, as I told you that it is not coming very naturally. This can become as negation of Q implies R, and or it can become R implies T, T implies. Okay, let me simplify this. So I will write Q wedge R. So this is first simplification. I think that I have found something. If it is the way, so we will solve it. If it is not the way, we will solve it again. No problem. Okay, so I can write it as negation of Q implies R. So this is for material implication. And with this I can say that it is negation of R implies Q. So this also can be written, because if I change, so it will be 5 transposition. I have used the rule of transposition, and 7 I take out this Q implies T. So 2 simplification. So if I use this step, so I will find negation of R implies T. So this will be 6, 7 hypothetical syllogism. Fine. So 9. I will simplify this. So T implies S. I will write it as 2 commutation, then simplification. Right? Because first I need to commute this, I will get it on the left hand side, and after that I will simplify. So in order to not break any rule or something, I am doing this. Fine. I may write a little bit on shorter or smaller here, but you will get it. So I have got T implies S, I have got negation of R implies T, and I have got T implies S. So with this I will find 10. This will be negation of R implies S. So this will be 8, 9 hypothetical syllogism, right? So I get negation of R implies S. Now whether it is serving any purpose, means that whether I can get S out of it. Now this is something where I am stuck, right? Because I cannot get from negation of R implies S anything like S, right? But then I need to see that if there is a relation between an R and S before, I cannot see that as well. So how to solve this question? And this is the problem with these kind of questions, that even after solving so many steps, you are not finding a way, or at least I am not finding a way to solve this question, that how to go for this question, that if we have these steps, so whether it is going to give us any result. Let us see. We have Q wedge R, so from this Q wedge R we have then negation of Q implies R. So it became negation of R implies Q because of transposition. And this Q implies T we have simplified, then negation of this, so negation of R implies T, and then we have T implies S, so negation of R implies S. Now let us see if we can find something from here. Negation of R implies S. Difficult, stuck, or there is a way out? What do you think? We need to solve it. We need to get S, we need to get S, we need to get S. You think? We will take a pause, and once we will come back, we will see the solution. Okay, so welcome back after the pause. I thought about this question. I am pretty sure that you must have also thought about this question, and I could not see a solution from here. Okay, So what I will do is that I will leave this part and take this part and try to solve that whether a solution is possible with the help of this part, because with this part I am getting stuck. I may not say this, you may not get stuck. This can also happen. So that is not the question. The question is how to do it. So what I am doing is that I am taking these steps out, because if you say that if you find, like if you're doing some question and you are stuck somewhere, so you need to change the strategy. So we are changing the strategy from here, and what I am doing is that I will keep up to step number 3, that what I have done till step number 3, and I am removing the rest of the things. Okay, I will simplify this part rather than this part. So what I will do, I will take step number 4 as Q wedge S. I will write it as 3 commutation and then simplification. Okay. So I have commute this, so it will become Q wedge S dot Q wedge R, and then I have simplified this. So it is to keep it as per the rules of the book which we are taking. So I took this. Now I will make it as negation of Q implies S. Fine. So this will be 4 material implication. So I got negation of Q implies S. If I transpose, it will become negation of S implies Q. So this will be 5th transposition. Now I will simplify this step. 7. Q implies T. So this is 2nd simplification. Then 8. Negation of S implies Q, Q implies T. So negation of S implies T. So this will be 6, 7 hypothetical syllogism. So I have got this. Now I will simplify this step. So step number 9, T implies S. Again, I have not only simplified it, I have also commuted it. So commutation, then simplification. Fine. So T implies S has come. Okay. Now I have got T implies S, and I have got negation of S implies T. So I will write negation of S implies S. This will be 8, 9 hypothetical syllogism, right? So this will become as double negation S wedge S. This will be 10 material implication. 12 S wedge S. This is 11 double negation, right? 13 S 12 tautology. So you get it that I have created this negation of S implies S. This is my this is what we were discussing before as well, that this question can be solved in this way. Now if I tell you this is an easier way, but the way we were solving the question before as well, that also has a solution, and I give it to you if you find a solution through it as well, because it will not matter, you need to solve 2 or 3 steps. But the point which I wanted to make is, like suppose you are solving it with one part, like I took this part first and tried to solve, and suppose you get stuck, use the other part. What is the problem? Because everything which is eligible is something which you can try, and you never know in which way you will find a question easier to solve. So that was the point which I wanted to make. You can solve, you are solving, you get stuck, what to do? You cut a few steps, go back to the initial step and start solving it with the other branch. So if there is 2 branches which are coming out, you took one branch and tried to solve, it is not reaching the result, you go back and try with the other branch, you will find the solution. So that is something which was important. So thank you very much for watching this video. We will come with more questions in the next video.